In 1995, a number of our area leaders had the great privilege of establishing what is now the Community Foundation of South Central Kentucky. The inspiration that motivated the founders was the need for a platform in which people of the community could leave legacies. As we saw it, the creation of permanent endowment funds would continue to give forever. Today, the Community Foundation of South Central Kentucky's mission remains the same: to encourage philanthropic giving for positive impact upon our communities for now and generations to come. In order to build, promote, and better encourage this mission, the Foundation has created an annual award to be presented to one distinguished member of our community whose life matches these same goals of service, impact, and overall commitment to the area. This represents the essence of the South Central Kentuckian of the Year. This year's South Central Kentuckian of the Year is Mr. Bob Kirby.
Bob is gracious, he's caring, he's loving, he's brilliant, he's down to earth, he can talk to anybody at any station in life, he loves people. His generosity, the things that Bob does that people know about are just the tips of the iceberg.
He's one of those people that is always helping and supporting not only the organization but the people within the organization, kind of, quietly in the community. And so he's the type of person you all hope we grow up to be.
People trust Bob Kirby. I learned that pretty quickly several years ago when we at Commonwealth Health Corporation were recruiting our first board of directors for our foundation. Bob's name kept coming up over and over, and people would say, "You really need Bob Kirby on your board. If Bob Kirby believes in and supports your mission, then other people will too." And I quickly learned that was true.
If there's a board at Western or in Warren County that's worth being on, he has either been on it in the past or more likely he's on it today. And the thing that he's helped so many people in so many ways, and the thing I love about Bob, most of the people that he helps are people that he'll never get to meet.
Mr. Kirby was on our board of trustees during some critical years for the library. Our library system started out as a city library, the Bowling Green Public Library, and he was a board member during the 90s, which was a critical time for our library. We were struggling financially. He came in, and again, in his quiet and yet confident way, he helped set the board on the library on a better track for financial security.
When I was about, 9 or 10 years old, probably, a teacher told me about the library. And at the time, it was in an old two-story house on Chestnut Street, and my routine was for several years. I'd go up there on Friday after school, and I'd get 2 books. Then I'd take them home, and I'd read them over the weekend, and take them back after school on Monday. Because of my involvement and the benefits I received from the library, when Mayor Webb called and asked me to come on the board, I immediately accepted it because I know I got a lot out of it.
After I got to know Bob, I found out right away, even as slow as I am, how smart he is. And I think he got it from his parents. They were so smart that they had the foresight to name him after a library.
I think with Mr. Kirby, it's important for him to give back to the community who supported him growing up. And I think that people like Mr. Kirby want to give back to the community that made them who they were. And so he's always been a supporter of the library, a user of the library, an advocate for the library, and this branch would not have been possible without his continued support through the years.
Mr. Kirby has been such a valuable asset to our foundation and its many initiatives. Through his knowledge, through his time commitment, his dedication, and his support for programs such as the Commonwealth Health Free Clinic. His leadership and his passion for helping others was very instrumental in helping us raise the funds we needed to construct the hospitality house, and serves as a home away from home for those people who have loved ones in the hospital and need to be close by.
I was working in the WKU Alumni Association, and again, it was about 2 decades ago, and we were on a finance committee, and Bob was serving on that finance committee. And I can recall coming back from a trip from Texas, and our van had just broken down. We had about 200,000 miles on the van, and we're in a finance committee talking about how do we possibly afford a new vehicle. Bob said, let me take care of it. The next morning he called and he said, go to this dealership, pick up this car, and it's the WKU Alumni Association's to use from now on. And so that was the first real interaction I'd had with Bob, and realized that he's a gentleman that knows how to get things done.
He's just, he's been a very hard and dedicated worker his entire life, and when he gets devoted to a cause, he stays with it. He's devoted a lot of his life to serving on the Salvation Army Board, and has done a lot with helping them raise money for the current facilities that they are in, and providing opportunities to feed and shelter the homeless in this community.
When I was 19, I was leaving for the service, and we had spent, several of us had spent the night in a hotel in Owensboro, and we left from the train station in Owensboro early one morning, and it was real cold in early March, and it was snowing. And the only people there were, there was a man and woman from the Owensboro Corps of the Salvation Army there on the platform with coffee and donuts. Now, that doesn't seem like a great deal, but it was to me when you're 19 years old and you're scared to death, and there wasn't anybody else there. That has always stuck in my mind, and when I was asked by Commissioner Charles Wilson to come on the board in 1974, I immediately accepted it and have been there since that time.
Bob, I first met when he was doing some work with Salvation Army. They were building some new buildings down there, and he was out fundraising. And the Salvation Army was near and dear to my heart. I followed Bob's footsteps a number of times. I can't fill his shoes, by the way, but I followed his footsteps. The Salvation Army would not be the same without Bob Kirby. If you want to get a feel for Bob Kirby, just go down and visit the Salvation Army and talk to those folks down there. He was involved in the major fundraising for the Center of Hope down there, the church activities, et cetera, et cetera. Bob chaired the United Way campaign a number of years back, very successfully. He burned out a little bit, so he conned me into doing it. You can't say no to Bob, and I enjoyed it, and he was a lot of help with that. And we were able to do some of the more successful campaigns that have been done. I know human nature enough that I would not be surprised to find that some people have some faults or failings, but I've yet to see them in Bob Kirby. They're just not there.
While I'm at home preparing a big Thanksgiving meal for my family, I know where Bob Kirby is. He will be at the Salvation Army serving Thanksgiving meals to the homeless and those that otherwise would not have a Thanksgiving meal. We need more Bob Kirbys, so that certainly has been an inspiration to me.
You know, my dad never was really motivated from, you know, this materialistic society that we lived in. He just was more concerned about, he's always worked hard and obviously strived to make a living and to take care of his family, but you know, money never was a motivating factor for him, and so he's just devoted his lifetime to trying to serve others and provide a meaningful benefit to the community. And I don't think there's any question, you know, when the good Lord calls him home, this community is going to continue to benefit from a lifetime of his hard work and the different endeavors that he's participated in.
I've never been anywhere that I didn't feel a certain sense of comfort coming down the highway and I see that Warren County sign, because I know at that point I'm not far away from friends and family. Of course, everybody loves home, but I have always felt like I had a stronger than normal feeling for this place.
Just take a stroll through Bowling Green or a drive around town, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a project or a building or a community organization that Bob has not been involved with in some form or fashion.
Since I've known Bob, he has given me a 16-year seminar on how to balance your business and giving back to the community. For that, I'll be eternally grateful. As things have evolved and things have worked out for me, how could I not give back to this community? And Bob has that same heart. He started with nothing or less, and He's been very successful and very humble and operated under the radar, and he believes in giving back to the community and honoring God and our community for all that they've given him. All I can say is thank you, Bob, and God bless you.